Hi there.
Hi.
Um, we're returning with our live streams and we'll see how it goes. Um, I'm back in Versailles after a lot of business, family, and vacation trips, and Pavel is somewhere else, not in Moscow. So, hi Pavel, where are you? What's happening?
Hi. I'm in Belgrade, and it took me quite a while to get here. It was sort of start your immigration with a nice vacation kind of trip. I got here first. I finally got out of Moscow. I'm almost free man now. Minsk,
We're
Vilnius.
losing sound, Pavel. We're losing sound
Okay.
when you are moving. Somehow you are interfering with
Okay.
the.
And right now,
Uh, let's
is
see.
it better?
Let's see. Let's
Well, we'll
try.
see. So I got to Belgrade via Minsk, Vilnius, Prague, Berlin, and Paris and Versailles. And my travels are not finished yet. From here, I'll travel to the south of Serbia, to Niš, and then I'll go to Bulgaria, where we'll see each other in our next stream, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh,
hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. So it's been a long and arduous journey. I can barely remember where I've been and what I've done, but some of the stories that I encountered in the bookish part of my journey, I'll tell today.
Hmm.
And where have you been? So you've traveled, yeah? I assume you also haven't been to just one or two or five places.
Yeah. Throughout the summer, I had a bit of traveling done, and both for work and for leisure, and obviously, as usual, in almost in every place, I try to find at least some bookish places and bookish locations and bookish people to meet and to talk to. So I'll show at least some of these meetings and things today during this live stream, and we'll see how it goes because it was quite a lot, and yeah, I need to check the list because it's I I sort of separated 11 instances of different places and things, and yeah, it started in early uh, June when we had a sort of weekend getaway in French Alps, and obviously we visited a couple of flea markets and other places, and I found some bookish stuff there. So how should we proceed? Should I begin, and then you'll switch at some moments when you are tired of my ramblings?
Oh, you're tired of rambling? First, I think we should say hi to Real LWD on YouTube, who is joining us from Lancaster, UK. And also, please, everyone, we really like to know where you join us from. We collect geographical locations. Uh, so please say hi. So
Also,
yeah.
also,
Please.
also, also, Yael Tal joined us from Australia, and great to see both of you. Loved the bookbindery in the Netherlands. So yeah, and I think I'll have something for Yael during the last part of the live stream when I'll be talking about my findings, my finds from the book market in The Hague in the Netherlands. So maybe there will be something of interest for them.
So I think you should start, and I'll take over at some point.
Okay, as usual, you'll have to talk for a bit because I need to switch everything into screen sharing mode and do simultaneously uh, like five things.
While Stepan was traveling, we actually recorded a very interesting interview too. Will you be talking about that?
Yes, at least we'll tease it.
Okay.
So it's just it's really not much. It's something that I found during our trip to Alps, and
Where,
The
sorry?
Alps.
To the Alps, like to the mountains?
Yeah, to the mountains. Well, not on
Whoa.
not on the road, obviously, but yeah, in early June we had this short getaway, and obviously we visited some brocante and other similar places and shops. Sophie is not always happy about it, my wife, but she liked this place. It's sort of a village of brocante of. Thrift stores if you want, and well, it's I think Pavel can post a link if anybody is interested. It's near Lyon, so it's not in the Alps yet, but you can see the mountains from there. And a couple of the first thing I saw that when I entered the market was this set of courses from Institut Artisanal de Relure, which is the Institute of Bookbinding, which is quite interesting. And only for 25 euros, I got this set of courses, and now I can improve my bookish and bookbinding French using these pamphlets, booklets, and obviously it's always fun to find some documents, some provenance hidden within the books, and that's one of my favorite things, to find some marks on, to find a previous owner or something, like to know more about the story of each object. And obviously this set is not an expensive one in no way, but still it's a pleasurable finding. And here's another thing I found: Untold Works of Napoleon. I guess that's I found it at the same market. I guess it's a box for because we can see inside of it. It's a box for spirits, and
Sorry, what
for
was
some
the
classes.
term? What was the term for that? You used a word once, like blux or something like
Looks,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's I'm not sure if it's an official term. There is this guy Steven Eisenstein in Florida, in the United States. He's a bookseller and a very interesting person. And I'm not sure if he coined this term, but he uses it, and I like it. And I have several of these books, and I also have. Maybe I can grab it really fast. It's over here. I showed it before, but that's not the first book box or box like that looks like a box that is designed for alcohol, because I have also this Johnny Walker set without anything inside, unfortunately. And I tried reaching out to Johnny Walker, to the producers of whiskey, but they didn't reply to me. Didn't give me any information about when this set may have been produced, but I guess at some moment in middle 20th century. So, yeah, Untold Works of Napoleon. It's just I don't think it's of any historical, cultural, or any sort of value, but it was a cheap buy, and I just couldn't walk by it. And now I can really say that my collection of books or bookish objects, book-liking object. How do I say? Objects looking like books is already started, and there are
And now
some
there's
objects.
now there's no stopping you.
No way back, yeah. And just a view from the place where we stopped after we visited this this brocante market in near Lyon, with a view to Mont Blanc, and yeah, that was a nice getaway. And I probably should switch to another set of photos. Just give me a moment. What happened next? Oh yeah, something that I wanted to talk about for quite a while. That's how do I share? New share. Yeah.
And when you say it's a village of thrift shops, there's like how many?
50.
Whoa,
maybe
whoa.
more, like dozens of them. And
Hmm.
I don't think they work every day. We chatted with some of the owners, and some of them told us that on some days they visit other flea markets or brocante markets, and on other days they stay here, and some of them have day jobs, so they work like 12 hours per day, as many artisans and craftspeople do. Yeah, so the next step in my today's story is that's a book market in Paris. I guess one of the largest book markets in Paris. It's Marche de Livre, Parc Georges Brassens. So it's a book market that works on weekends, and I wanted to visit it for quite a long time, and especially as I had this amazing connection with book market in The Hague, and I loved visiting there. And it's an interesting place and a beautiful space. And what you see in the photos is something like, I think, two-thirds or maybe three-quarters of a market, because there is an additional space, just, I don't know, 20 meters away from there. And there is a huge variety of books and book objects offered there. And there are comic books, there are old books, there are new books, almost anything you would like to you would like to find on the book markets. Arts, albums, I don't know, erotic books, really almost anything, except books in foreign languages.
Well, this is Paris, right? I
Yes.
mean,
And for me, obviously, it was quite a bit upsetting, because especially after my experience with the book market in The Hague, where I think you can find books in any language there, or any language that has at least a lot of books printed in. And I found there books in Greek, in Hebrew, in Russian, in Romanian, in Bulgarian, in Serbian, and obviously in English and in Dutch, in French, in German, and in many other languages. So it was amazing just to hunt there for books. Here, you either have to spend really a lot of time trying to sift through all the French books to find some books in other languages, or you have to just get used to it and buy and read French books. And I found a couple of nice books there. I didn't buy them because they were a bit out of my budget. But yeah, so you can definitely find interesting things and good books there, especially if you read French. And if you don't speak French, I still would recommend visiting this book market. And once again, yeah, Pavel have already posted the link
no,
to.
where exactly in Paris is it? Because I've never heard of it. It's not in the center, right?
It's in the south, near Peripheric. So if you go there, it's really a good how it is placed, because something like 5 minutes walk away from this market, there is a big flea market over there, which also works every Saturday and Sunday. So you can do both in one day. You just have to go there probably first to the flea market, because it closes at something like 2 or even 1 p.m. And the book market works a bit longer, so you should probably go first to the flea market and then to book market, or you should go there like at 9 in the morning, and then you can do it in any order.
So, any interesting finds?
On flea market.
No, in this one.
Yeah, I found a couple of books, but there was one really nice bookbinding tutorial, French, from early 20th century, but the price was something like 175 euros, and it was a bit too much for me. So I decided not to buy it. I just marked it in my wish list, maybe for the future.
And can you actually talk them into lowering the price, or
Depends on the seller, and I
Mhm.
guess we'll talk a bit more about it when we talk about book market in The Hague, if we get to that, because we have a lot of stuff to talk about. So I can do one more thing, and then we can switch to Pavel if you do
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
because I have another that's not a bookish find, and well, it's a bookish find, but not mine, but it connects with some other things that we talked on our live streams before, so I decided to show it anyway, and it's a beautiful thing. So just give me a moment, please, and I will switch to show you this one. So here it is.
Whoa,
Do you see it?
whoa. Yeah,
So
I can probably guess who this find was for.
let's try it.
We didn't talk to that many people who can afford buying things like that. So was it our last guess? Was it Zubarul Islam?
It
Yeah.
was Zubair Islam, a bookseller from Canada, to whom with whom we spoke during our previous live stream, and once again you can find it on our YouTube channel, and obviously on our Facebook page as well. And Pavel will probably post some links to his accounts and the page that describes this object. But it's a parchment. It's a really huge parchment. It's stitched from three pieces of parchment in reality. You can see the folds of the document, and each fold is created where the stitching is done. And I have never touched anything like that before. Well, I've seen objects like this in museums, and but never held anything in my hand. And obviously, I had to open it because I had to check if it was delivered to me properly. And the story is that the seller was in France, and he or she, they didn't want to send it overseas. So Zubairul asked the community who can help him to forward this package, and well, I was there, so I ordered the item and got it, and it arrived like this. There should be a video there. Yeah. So the package was like this. Not really nice.
Not nice at all.
And
I mean, we did discuss the problem with packaging last time, but
yeah,
that's not something you expect.
yeah. So it even for sending items within France, that's not the best decision. How you should not the best way to pack a rather expensive object. And so obviously I had to repack it. So when I repacked it, I also checked if everything is intact, and made some photos. And here it is how it looked in the end. That's a proper
A bit
way.
better. Yeah.
That's a proper way to pack it. And so we have Kiplick's photography. Hi from France. So we have viewers from France today. That's really
It also
nice.
has Berfu Nakar from Istanbul. Hi, Berfu.
Okay.
Nice to see you too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have already joined us during our previous live stream. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we have a few regulars here today, and thank you all for joining us, and well, and for commenting. And as usual, if you have any questions, please post them. I well, maybe some questions about locations, museums, or anything like that. We'll be happy to answer them. So
Could you show a bit more of this
yeah.
scroll again? What is it?
You
How
can
old is it? Where is it from?
post the link to
Yes.
Zubairul's website. It's I think as far as I remember, it's 15th century, and it's a notary or something like that.
It looks
Uh,
Spanish, at least to me. Yeah.
so there is a long description and on his website, and people who want to see more, there are more photos on Zubairul's Instagram as well, and there also should be a link in the file I shared with you, Pavel. So if you can post it to chats, everyone
Okay.
can just follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some more photos, some more details, and didn't, I just unrolled it, and then I rolled it and packed it. So I didn't spend much time looking at it or making photos or some close-ups, just a few photos. So if somebody wants to have more details, please go to Zubairul's account, Instagram account, and follow this account, because there are lots of interesting objects there. Even if you wouldn't buy any of books or manuscripts from his collection.
Well, actually, I was surprised browsing his website how affordable some of these things are.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that's, by the way,
I,
one of the things we discussed during our live stream. So we invite you to check this one as well. Yeah.
okay, so can I
So
tell a story?
should we switch? Just let me do
Tell me when I can share my screen.
the magic, and yeah, share it.
Magic. So, in Prague, I didn't have that much time, and I was mostly into going to LGBT prides and stuff. But I did visit one museum. I haven't been there for a long time. Yeah, it's an alchemical museum. I'll show you why it has some connection to our interests, to the bookish topics. But first, I wanted to talk a bit about the context. I mean,
And I think we also have discussed this museum during our
yeah,
previous, not live
with
streams, but during podcasts.
wasn't it with
Daniel Kelm, I think.
Daniel
Yeah.
Camp? Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was very jealous of me having been there. So, if you're watching, I've been there twice by now.
Do you have any links, or should I just,
Yeah, yeah.
search
I did insert the link in
the
the
same
WD.
file?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so some context. A long time ago, in the late 16th, early 17th century, Prague was one of the capitals of Europe. It was the golden age of Prague, and all of that because of this guy. This is Holy Roman Emperor Rudolf II, and you can tell that he's a Habsburg because even under that extraordinary beard, you can see a very, very malformed chin. His children and grandchildren would grow even more misshapen in their face, but he's already a sign of things to come. Unlike his descendants, he was still very much clear in his mind. He was an extraordinary guy. When he moved his capital from Vienna, I think, to Prague, and it was the only time that Holy Roman Empire was ruled from Prague, he started inviting all sorts of people there. He was a very rich and a very important person after all. So, for example, there was Tycho Brahe, who worked for him and for whom he eventually built an observatory. And there was a certain painter who you may know. He's called Arcimboldo. And just to show you what Arcimboldo did and what an interesting taste Rudolf II had, I should show you another portrait of Rudolf. by Archimboldo, and this is this one. I mean,
This one is much better, I think.
yeah. I prefer this one too. So it's called the Tumnus, this ancient Roman god of fertility and spring and whatnot. But it is almost certainly, first and foremost, a portrait of Rudolf II, and it was one of his favorite paintings. Giuseppe Archimboldo did paint a lot of stuff like that. Not all of them was as bizarre. For example, my favorite self-portrait of his is a very philosophical piece and a very beautiful one. This is not a painting, this is a drawing. I'm lucky to have seen it once. It's extraordinary. Look at it. He's made his face out of sheets of paper, and you can see peeling. You can see them peeling off of his face, revealing his age. And not only in that way, but also with the two digits that you see on his forehead. And it is actually the only way we know when Archimboldo was born, because he is extremely poorly documented otherwise. So this is a master in his prime.
For sure, the year of his birth, because sometimes not every person knew the year of their birth at that time.
Yeah, and he also may have lied.
Yeah. Well, even my grandfather, who was born in 1930s, didn't know for sure if he was born in 1932 or 1933 or something like that, because they didn't record his birth in the church books right away, and then it was like one child was born, another was born. Who cares?
Yeah, when you have 8 of those. Actually, my great-grandfather wasn't even sure if he was the 3rd child or the 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, after a certain amount, you just lose count. So here he is, a true Renaissance man with a very peculiar manner. And I just wanted to show one more painting of his that we put on the preview of our podcast. It's this one. Unfortunately, it's not the original. The original seems to be lost. It was long thought that this one, currently in Sweden, was the original, but a recent analysis showed definitively that it is a post-mortem copy. It's called The Librarian. We actually know who it shows. I showed it a bit later.
Zoom in first.
Yeah. Just a moment. So this is an actual person, a historian, a humanist, and a librarian of Rudolf II. And his portrait is made entirely of books and other objects. What do you see apart from the books?
Well, I forgot the word. The закладки.
Okay, the bookmarks.
Bookmarks.
Yeah. So those are really nice, and there's a certain variety of those. I particularly like these small things.
Laces as well. Yeah. Laces.
Yeah. Look. Those are not leather. Those are probably some very expensive textile. It certainly looks expensive. I really like.
It's interesting that these are not. They are tied in, like you see in at least one of the books down below. That one that stands almost vertically near the.
Yeah. This one on the left. Yeah.
Tied in. They are not clasps. Yeah. So they're really laces.
And these in the bottom 2 books are clearly some sort of silk. So very sumptuous material, and also the bindings. The bindings are pretty good too. These are actual bindings from the Royal Library. Quite a few of those still survive, partly in Sweden, partly in Prague, and partly in Moscow. I'm not sure how they got there, but I presume that it was via Berlin and certain events in the 1940s. But also there are other objects. There's a scroll right next to his nose, and there are also these things around his mouth. What do you think those are? His beard, it's made out of what, in your opinion?
Tails of some small animals.
But why? Why the
Is
librarian
it
and the
dust of
furs?
the books?
Ye-
I don't know. I don't
yeah.
really know.
The general idea seems to be exactly that, that he's not just a scholar, he's also a keeper and protector of the library.
Custodian. Yeah,
Custodian,
okay.
yeah, that's the one, yeah. But to me, the most strange part are his eyes.
Yeah. When we prepared for this live stream, we discussed what are the things that his eyes are made of, and
well, let me zoom in a bit more.
It looks like they are cast iron things, but what are
yeah.
they?
So I noticed this detail under his left eye. Can you see that?
Yeah, maybe.
Also some kind of metal part. So there is this theory that those are key rings, and this little part is an actual key sticking from under it. So he's not just a custodian, he's also a guardian, a protector, the one who decides who's worthy of access to the knowledge. I'm not sure, because I've never seen key rings that looks like that. Maybe those aren't key rings, maybe those are top parts of a key, I don't know. But to me, this is the most uncanny part of it all. You can sort of see it's a human being.
Maybe you are right, because if you zoom in again, you can see this. There is the shape of the right one is like ovoid, or how do you call it, oval
yeah.
And
Sort
there
of
is this
novel,
sharp
yeah.
spike in the bottom part, and not as sharp corner in the top part. And sometimes you can find keys like that. Maybe it's a key that the key part is looking down from there. Maybe you're right.
So it's an impressive work, and it tells us a lot about how they viewed librarians at the time. Librarian is not just a scholar. He's more than that. You know how in ancient Rome they used to bury high status women with keys, because it's the status symbol. They are the keeper of the house, and there's something just like it here. So anyway, that's the sort of.
This reminds me of there is a set of engravings dedicated to craftsmen represented through the objects of their craft, of their trade. I don't remember exactly from which country it originates, and there were copycats, obviously, and similar sets of engraving. Do you recognize about what I'm talking at, or not?
Not enough information, but if you search it, perhaps you can show it to me a bit later. So that's the sort of milieu that was around Rudolf II. He really liked sophisticated visual jokes. He really liked intellectualizing and over-intellectualizing. And he also liked these strange transformations. And not just in art. He was really, really into alchemy. And I think it was in around 2010. Yeah, it was in 2010 that they were renovating a building, nothing special, on the outskirts of the Jewish quarter in Prague, when they found a set of tunnels. And when they excavated them, they found an intact alchemist laboratory from the early 17th century, the only one in existence, with everything you may want in it. So let me show you some photos
if you can pause for a moment, I've sent you a link to Google.
Should I open it?
Just open it because it connects with the previous theme, and I was just curious if what was first. I guess the
in this one. Oh my God!
Engravings were later. So it's a whole set of this le costume grotesque, a set of engravings dedicated to grotesque costumes of different tradesmen, artisans, and etc. And as I said, they were copied definitely in the Netherlands and in some other countries with some modifications and variations. I'm not sure if this exactly set is the first one. We need to. I just remembered it and didn't do any research, unfortunately. But anyway, there are like 20 of them or something like that, maybe even more, and some of them are book related as well. As you can see, here's a printer, and it was later than
of course it was
100 years later or something like that. Yeah,
but a very peculiar thing too. So if you don't know what to wear to Halloween, just take all your tools and
and we have a comment on YouTube from Real LWG. The eyes could be scissors or metal clamps. That's true as well.
But why would a librarian have scissors?
Well, to cut the books. But maybe he did it, or they
Censoring,
did it with
yes.
a knife. But maybe scissors.
Maybe
But
that. Yeah.
It definitely looks like cast iron. That's for sure.
That's true. Yeah. So in those tunnels, they found a few chambers. Inside them, they found actual kilns where the alchemists worked. We don't know if they were looking to make gold. There are certainly books about finding the Philosopher's Stone, but we know that they were making lots and lots of potions. So this is most of these bottles are reproductions, but I think there were a couple of actual ones. Yes, so the ones on the lower shelves are actual bottles they found there. And let me switch to my photographs.
When we were in Sweden, we were passing through Sweden on our way from Norway to Denmark in August, and this August. We stopped at another brocante, obviously, and there were some really nice pharmacy bottles, like vintage pharmacy bottles, not very expensive, quite cheap, really. I don't think they were very old, something like 19th century pharmacy bottles, and I spent 5 minutes walking around them and thinking, they're so nice, I should buy them, but how would I use them? What's the use for them? Just to put them on a shelf? I didn't buy them in the end.
Well, I can't show you the photo I wanted, so I'll just put this one for now. So anyway, in the same tunnel, they found a safe hidden behind a stone relief, and inside that safe, they found 4 bottles still with potions in them, and they found actual recipes for magic potions from the early 17th century. This nice museum actually brews those potions, although they did have to switch certain ingredients, like they don't use lead for some reason, and and they don't use opium for some other reasons.
Also
but other ways they follow the process, and it's very nice. So another nice thing about this place, besides being on the grounds of an actual alchemical laboratory, is who worked there. You may know Rabbi Levi, the one who is supposed to have made the golem. So for those of our
interested
viewers,
in this, they definitely should visit this museum as well.
Yeah, and they should go to the new Stara Nova, old new synagogue in Prague, which is rumored. There is a legend that says that it was in this synagogue that this rabbi made this clay monster and inserted the name of God written in Hebrew characters on a scroll, and this monster, this golem, wreaked havoc on Prague, so they had to take the scroll and hide on the cellar of this synagogue. So anyone interested in having a supernatural helper is very much welcome to go and look.
There is another comment from Berfunakar. Okay, now I'm jealous too, and it appeared approximately at the moment when you started talking about this cellar. I guess it's related, but well, I'm not sure. But I don't think it was related to the engravings of tradesmen and artisans.
Another cool thing is that this laboratory is pretty well documented, and we know how it used to operate, and we know that the entrance to those cellars was through a false door inside a bookcase. So they recreated that using a copy of a bookcase of a approximately right period bookcase from a Czech castle, and I entered an actual alchemist laboratory through an actual hidden door in a bookcase. Always wanted to do that.
I need to have something like that in one of my future houses.
So this was the coolest part about Prague. Do you want to continue?
Yeah, sure. I also wanted to say something and I absolutely forgot. Yeah, well, I wanted to chat just a bit more because as you mentioned, I'm not sure if Stopan is among the viewers today, but we'll definitely send him a link and ask him a few questions. But as far as I understand, you told me that you are able to go to Serbia. Obviously, you have a Bulgarian visa, and you told me that you probably have a chance to visit Romania as well. Or is it true or not?
Yes, I have Bulgarian visa, so I'll stay in Bulgaria for 2 months, and I certainly hope to see Kalin and see his work in person finally. And the same visa allows me to go to Croatia and Romania, so I'll go to Romania too. Yeah.
And other countries. What else? What else do we have in the area that's not yet European Union? And
I'm also planning to go to Montenegro and Bosnia.
Okay, so you can go there without a visa.
Yeah, that's the plan.
And what about Macedonia?
North Macedonia, I don't know. That I need to check.
Yeah. So if anyone among our viewers, current or future, knows any bookish people or bookish places that Pavel should visit or reach out to in these countries, in this area, please send us a message or contact me or Pavel, or just post a comment on Facebook or YouTube, anywhere. And
Yeah, that would be really interesting to hear because I know a lot about early printing history and manuscript history in the area, but in terms of modern day masters, Kalin is the only one we are aware of. So please tell us more.
yeah, definitely. I think I had some Serbian bookbinders in my Facebook feed. I'll have to check that. But anyway, if you are this person, reach out
Or
to
you
us,
know
please.
such a
Yeah, or you
person?
know
Yeah.
such a person. So I guess you'll have to stop sharing, and I'll switch.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and I'll switch to my sharing in a moment. So let me close the old windows first, just not to have everything overcrowding my desktop, and we'll see what comes next. What is it? So we talked. Oh yeah, okay. So next thing we did, it was a busy weekend at the end of what it is, July. We went to Heidelberg, to Germany, for one day, and
You're not sharing anything at the
yeah,
moment?
I'm not sharing
You know
yet.
that,
I'm
yeah.
just embracing myself to share. Let's see what it is there. Okay, here we are. I wanted to show them in a different order. Never mind. So we went to Heidelberg, and it was a very interesting trip because we have friends who live there, and we've been with them before, but we never went to explore the city. And it's a beautiful city located in. And now Pavel has music.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. Pavel will have to switch on his mic when he's talking. Heidelberg is a beautiful city located in a beautiful mountainous place, and it's an old city, and there are obviously some bookish places there. And one of them is let me check the name. It's a book guild, as far as I remember. It's called Book Guild Gutenberg, or Buchergilde Buchenkultur, or Buchergilde Gutenberg. So it's sort of a club that produces small print runs of different books, and the books are not available for sale as they are, but you can become a subscriber or member of this club, and you subscribe to getting several books per month or per quarter or per year or something like that, and then you come over to their shop, and you can choose one of the books they produced recently, and it's sort of, it is included within your contributions, and I guess then you can also buy some books. So I got let me see if it's here. Yeah, I didn't prepare this one. I got this paper dragons. It's a book with poetry and illustrations made of paper. And that's why I got it, because it's once again it's book related. So it's Sayed Ali Shodaye and Christine Laube, Mehrat Zairi are the collaborate authors of this book, and let me show you some of the illustrations, or how do you call it? There, all of them are paper objects, and It's an interesting book, but when I opened it, I found out that it is signed by the artists. So it's a drawing made specifically in this book by the artist, and well, it was a nice find. And also they gave me this book as a gift, and it's well, it's mirrored. The image is mirrored. Am I right? Yeah. So it's not for sale. It's a book about why book art and books are important and interesting, and it's also an interesting object, and I'm glad to have it, and I will definitely return to it in the future and browse through it. And they have lots and lots of interesting books there in this book club or book guild, and also you can see there are some pretty actual books, 100 maps of Ukraine, and yeah, some of them are pretty much related to the current war. So that was the first place we visited in Heidelberg, and
Sorry, I just wanted to. I'll send you a link now, and you can show a few images from there. The idea itself of using photographs of paper sculptures, paper objects. Oh, music is all around me. Okay, well, is not new. There is a very interesting example from the constructivist era in Soviet Union.
Where did you send this link to?
Haven't I? Let me try again.
Telegram, because it didn't.
Okay, yes, Telegram, yeah. It's by Alexander Rodchenko, one of the classics of Russian avant-garde art, and also a friend of Malevich and friend of everyone at that time. And he was a photographer, he was a painter, and he was also a paper sculptor. These are from 1920s, these sculptures, and their photographs were used as illustrations for books for children. And I think it's an interesting thing, and recently it was reprinted, so you can actually buy it in a pretty decent quality. That's what I want to say.
Interesting. Thanks, Pavel. And then moving forward to another location that I had a chance to visit in Heidelberg. It's bookshop. Unfortunately, I do not have. I forgot to take a photo from the outside. But if you go to Google Maps, Pavel will probably post a link or to their Instagram account. You will see how it looks from the outside, and the place is called Antiquariat Hatri or Antiquariat Thomas Hatri, and it's a wonderful. I wanted to say wonderful small shop. It's not a small shop. It's like it has four floors and a cellar, and yeah, you can see how sometimes you have to go through all these stacks of banana boxes to get. This is just there in this nook. They hide all the books dedicated to book art, so that's why I was there. And I found a pretty interesting book there. It's once again nothing of a very high value or something, but it's just a beautiful object, newsprint, and it's a sort of an advertisement for a paper making company, and they have all these amazing illustrations in there in this book, and it's in a good condition, and the veneer is sort of made to look like wood, and it was a nice find, and it's 100 years old, something like that. So it's American Canadian company, which and it definitely looks like a bit like modern corporate reports, because you have all these faces of important white guys there. So I found this book in this amazing shop, and then there is this seller there. You see a photo of it, and then there is Marxismus, Kommunismus, Jura, Luther, Christliche Kunst. That's a nice mix there. And yeah, here is it's a huge space. It's just a cellar, and then there are three or four floors above it, and they sell all sorts of books, and this spiral staircase goes throughout the building, and you can go up and down, and there are also LPs sold there, and I think there are, well, there is a variety of books. There are books in different languages. I found some books in Eastern European languages, nothing of interest in Russian, unfortunately. But anyway, next time I'll be there, I'll definitely visit this shop, and probably will find some more interesting stuff there. So that's it for Heidelberg, and we went there to return to the Ukrainian theme. We went there because in Frankfurt there was a concert of major Ukrainian rock band, I guess, Okean Elzy, and well, it was a concert in support of Ukraine, and we have a friend who lives in Heidelberg. She's partially Ukrainian, or she spent her childhood there in Eastern Ukraine. So we decided that it was a good cause and good reason for us to meet. And yeah, and then next day we returned to Paris to visit Lady Gaga concert. But that's definitely a tangent. Anyway, should I continue with our next trip, or do you want
Yes,
to?
tell us a bit more. I really like this one. What was this building before? Do you know? Because it doesn't look like it started as a bookshop.
Yeah, I don't think I wanted to check their Instagram and to get some more info, but I wanted to post some photos first, and well, anyway, I didn't do that. So maybe there is some info on their website. Maybe we should have checked it. Who knows? So what's happening here? That's uh, that's from the start of our uh, vacation, because everything before that was not vacation. It was different sort of trips. And oh, I forgot to tell that at some moment I went to Romania, to Bucharest, and I had a chance to visit the new workshop of our fellow bookbinder Mihai Vertejaru, and from he and his maybe somebody know some people know his project Arta Carti, art of books, and he posts until recently he posted mostly videos in Romanian, but recently he started posting in English as well. So if you are interested in book arts, you should definitely check out his accounts. And unfortunately, I didn't make any photos because we were consumed by talk and chat and discussion and all that, and we haven't seen each other for some time because of COVID. So. Yeah, but I was glad to see that he has a much larger space right now, and it looks like he's doing well, and I wish him all the best. So that's from our vacation, which also was a bit had some work stuff in it. We went to Norway from France by car, so we had to visit go through Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, and then it's Norway. And our way back, we also, as I mentioned, went through Sweden. And this is in the city of Zwolle in the Netherlands, in the northern part of the Netherlands, northeastern part of the Netherlands. There is this old church which is turned to a bookshop, and it is called Wanders in the Broeren. And here it is how it looks inside, and there is a bookshop in a church in Maastricht. We've posted about it on our Instagram a while ago, and we visited it like 2 years ago or something like that. And it's also a beautiful space, but somehow this space in Svoli is much more much lighter and spacious, and gives much more positive vibes. Somehow, I do not want to throw any shade on the bookshop in Maastricht, but when I went into this shop, and you go through the side door, and then the space opens up in front of you, it's a pretty amazing feeling, and I like the shop quite a lot. And obviously there is a cafe in the other space, because it seems to be a tradition in the Dutch bookshops in churches. And yeah, here it is, and it was a surprise. We just not that we took a wrong turn, just we were walking on back to our car, and I looked on the sideway and saw this church, and I guessed, yeah, I made a wild guess that it may be a bookshop as well, like the one in Maastricht, and it was. So what a surprise! What I wanted to say about it, I think we discussed bookshops like that during one of our previous live streams, where we talked about also about this old bookshop in Bucharest, maybe something else. But anyway, Pavel told at that moment that there is also a bookshop in the church in Amsterdam, or two of them. I don't remember. I never visited them. I need to do that next time. Would you care to share a bit more about these bookshops? Do you remember anything about them? No. Okay.
What I do remember is the reaction we got to that discussion,
Yeah.
because there are people who think it inappropriate.
Oh yeah, that's true. But somehow it seems much more appropriate to me than demolishing these churches. Pavel, can you cover your camera for a moment, because you are out of focus? Maybe it will allow it to focus or something. I don't know.
Anybody? Okay, well,
Yeah, we'll have to test it next time.
yeah.
Anyway, so do we have anything interesting in the comments? A real LWD. I love that floor. Yeah, that one is pretty spectacular. Anything on Facebook? Not really. Pavel just posting some links. So what's next? Next I have Schmet. Should we talk about this, or you'll switch?
Yeah. Let's talk about that, and then since we will be geographically in Germany, I'll talk a bit about Berlin.
Okay, perfect. So let me. On our way up to Norway, we also stayed for a night in Hamburg, and we had a meeting with Schmet. It doesn't work for me right now. Okay, let me see. I guess almost everyone should know what Schmet is. Schmet is a producer and supplier of bookbinding tools and materials. One of the largest, I guess, in Europe, and they have some well-known machines of their own make, like for example a pregnant stamping machine, a letter stamping machine, and they also produce Surefix, the machine for pairing leather. They bought it out from the original inventors or designers and producers, and they have a lot of large machinery. They offer a wide range of materials, and yeah, we spent some time at their office and warehouse. We have recorded a podcast with them. So that's something for September, I guess. We'll publish there. Yeah, and here is their huge warehouse. Some storage ideas as usual. We couldn't skip this opportunity to show you something, some stuff, and a lot of storage of different beautiful things. And yeah, I wouldn't show more because we have a whole video of Pavel and I talking to Konstantin Schmidt, who was the main person I communicated with, and his father, who is currently the I think he's the owner of the business because it's a family business, and
What is it like fifth generation, right? Certainly pre-war.
Yeah, so I think they told us that their family bought out the business in early 20th century. Am I right? In 1920s or something like
Yeah, and I remember something about the father's grandmother running the business for a while.
Who ran the
So
business
that's one,
throughout the
two,
war,
three, four at least. So either 4 or 5 generations. And I was really impressed by how approachable they were. Because I don't know about you, I was a bit nervous talking to people running a business producing hundreds, if not thousands of machines a year, you know. But it was really nice talking to them. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very interesting experience and talk, and to find out the history of this family business. And I'm not sure that many people know that it's a family business, and it's not a large business because they told us that they have something like 50 employees. So it's not a really huge business, and it has some peculiarities and specifics, and obviously the past 2 years were strange for everyone, and they were nice enough to share some of the details about the recent history and the history throughout the 20th century of their business. So.
And you are going into business with them, well, sort of.
I guess we'll announce it that later.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so let's switch to Pavel.
Okay. So, oops. So, another one place in Berlin that I
Do you have links, or should I look?
Sorry, I forgot to paste them. Yeah. So one place I really wanted to go to Berlin was Staatsbibliothek zu Berlin. So basically, State Library in Berlin. I don't know how many tens or probably even hundreds of hours I spent on this website of theirs. They were one of the first to start a massive digitization program. And they are one of the biggest and most important libraries in the world, which is impressive considering that it was a very small provincial city. There wasn't much of Berlin until relatively recently. The library itself is founded in the 17th century, but at the time it was basically a collection of a local ruler. I'm not sure what kind of ruler that was, and the library only started growing in the 19th century with the unification of Germany around Prussia and different individuals donating their collections. But by now they have impressive holdings in every imaginable area. And what I didn't know, and actually discovered by chance, that just a few years ago they opened a museum. And it's one of the best library museums I've been, if not the best. I like how, Staatsbibliothek zu Berlin isn't exactly something you can say fast, doesn't roll off the tongue, So the name of the museum is Stabi Kulturwerk. So Staatsbibliothek Stabi Kulturwerk. Really nice, and they don't advertise it enough, I think. They don't publicize it. If you go to Berlin, you should totally go. It's free, like so many museums in Berlin. It will take you like an hour and a half to 2 hours to go and read everything there, but you don't have to. It's not far from the Brandenburg Tor. It's in the center, so when passing by, you just can go inside, select a part of the museum, and spend 30 minutes. So
and return there next day.
Yeah, and then return on your way back, I don't know. So let me show a few photographs I made there. Well, first of all, that's quite an entrance to a library. The walls are covered. I'm not sure, is it ivy? Maybe it's grapes, and they have this wonderful space. It was like 35 degrees when I was in Berlin, but it was nice and cold, and with a fountain, it was very pleasant in there. And the entrance to the library proper, and on the ground floor there is a museum. So it's a very atmospheric place. So it looks basically like this.
I want to go there.
Yeah, and I really like the organizing principle, because in other museums library museums that I've been to, they usually take some topic and show lots and lots of stuff relating to that topic, and then there's another topic, and then there's another topic. So they sort of try to make a traditional museum, but it's a library first and foremost, and they want to tell to their visitors what they have. So every single case is dedicated to a certain collection of the library. Like any library, it consists of certain collections, and from each and every collection, they select 1 or 2, maybe 3 books, and give a really nice, not very long, but concise and really entertaining explication why they selected this book, what kind of story it tells, how it relates to the story of this particular collection, and what else is in the collection. There were so many stories there, but just let me show what they have apart from the more traditional books, and just let's go through it. I really liked, just a moment, where is it? Here it is. So this is a death mask of an author. They have a whole collection of those, and I don't know.
I think they were quite popular in the early 20th century or something like that. It was a thing somehow.
Yeah, and in the 19th century. But this particular one, I haven't seen anything like it. Let me give you a close up. I think I have, no, don't I have? So the beard, the mustaches, and the brows are made of actual hair.
Okay.
So that was uncanny. You can sort of see,
okay, you can see
individuals, individuals hairs coming through. So there was that. Then let me just show you a few things. In the very early part of its history, much of its output, because it has always been not just a library but also a scientific center and a printing center. So it was a center of producing Chinese literature. mostly translations of Western literature into Chinese, and also translating it back. And they had this remarkable thing. It's only a small part of a whole case of something like 3,000 characters made by hand in early 18th century, I think, because one of the founders of the library was really interested in this. I mean, have you ever seen a portrait of a German ruler looking like that? Really interesting stuff. So they have lots of the oldest collection they have is Sinitic collection, which is really unusual for early modern library. What else have we got? So they had some artist books. There was this thing, and it comes really close to what we were discussing with Mark Cockram. I mean, what's a book?
That's the first thing. The first person I thought of when you opened this photo. Like,
yeah. So a book is something that you can close and open, and that can stand on its own. And clearly,
and also it's a triptych.
It's a triptych, yeah. And it has some text in it, so that's very advanced. And it had a mirror surface behind it, and all those hands hugging you. It was actually a pretty surreal experience. I want to find out more about the artist. I've never heard about him.
Is it a shape of in the middle? Is it in the negative space? Is it the shape of from a playing card there, like a queen or something like that?
Yes. I think it's a two-sided image, both downside and. So they have a collection of artist books, and I asked if you can actually see most of them. They are not on display, but you can ask, and they'll bring out to you at least the ones that are easily transportable. Another collection that they have is a big collection of Russian books. Books in Russian, books printed in Russia, books
from
about Russia, from all sorts of eras. And there were interesting 19th century material, 18th century material, early 20th century material, but the most interesting to me was the thing that we put on Instagram, promoting our live stream. So this is an artist book made by Berlin-based Georgian artist Tamara Ivanova. She doesn't sound Georgian to me, but the explication said she was Georgian, and she lived in Berlin. And this is a box for that book. And I should probably explain what it is we're seeing, because not everybody knows. Well, this some people can probably recognize. This is the mausoleum on the Red Square in Moscow. But why are we seeing Lenin and Stalin lying together on in red rectangles on a black background? So not many people know, but for almost 10 years, the mausoleum didn't just house Lenin, it also housed Stalin too. There are these photographs from late 50s, early 60s of mausoleum, not just saying Lenin on it, but Lenin and Stalin. And I actually saw this stone with those names on it. It's housed in, housed. kept in a quarry not far from Moscow. And if you go there at night and give a bottle of vodka to the gods, you can see it. Interestingly, I can't show you what Lenin and Stalin looked together in the mausoleum, because when you start looking for it, you mostly see photos like this that are clearly photoshopped. It was totally forbidden to photograph there, and in fact,
well,
there is only one.
I wouldn't use the word photoshopped here because Photoshop didn't.
Yeah,
But
obviously.
retouched, or how do you call it?
Yeah. But there is actually one photograph, and it's an interesting story. In early 60s, I think it was, an American journalist or spy, who knows, managed to get into the mausoleum with a hidden camera and make this shot. And this is the only photograph of Lenin and Stalin lying together, despite them lying there for over 10 years.
Here's the plan. We need to put a third person there for a short period of time.
I know a certain person,
and then probably we'll have a chance to open the archives where there are definitely some photos of Lenin and Stalin laying together.
And actually, Stalin is buried just next to the mausoleum, and he's supposed to be buried in a marble sarcophagus, preventing him from decay. So he probably looks better than Lenin, who's almost completely made of plastic, as we know. So what we see
plastic
in
and wax is plastic.
So what we see in this artist's book installation are two books about Lenin and about Stalin, from what I remember, containing some very rude poems about them, shaped like coffins on black background, and in this mausoleum shaped box. I think it's a great work, and I would really like to know who Tatiana Ivanova is. We should probably find out and try to talk to her about her work. So getting your work into Berlin Library and showing it in its museum, that's quite an achievement. Not many people who can boast that.
So, do you have any more stuff to share, or that's it for today from your side? I'm just trying to plan how much.
Perhaps I can continue next time. Not from I could go on about this museum, but I also saw a few other bookish places in Berlin. So maybe next time.
Yeah.
Well, in a month.
Yeah. Sure. I can finish, I think, the Norwegian and a bit more of the Dutch part of our travel in something like 15 or 20 minutes, if that works for you.
15 minutes, okay, but then I have to go to catch my bus to the next country. Yeah. Okay. So I'm stopping sharing then.
So let's try to do it promptly. Pronto. And now I need to share. Let's see. So after Germany, we had a short stay in Denmark, but we didn't visit anything there. We just went through the country and to the ferry. And this is in it's a village. It's not even a town. It's a village of Sogndalstrand, which is they have something like 348 residents there. And in this village, we've seen 6 or I don't know, something like 6 street libraries there, and I think they have the highest density of street libraries per capita in the world in this village. And we went we went there because it's spectacular on its own, and it's definitely worth visiting this village if you are in the southwestern part of Norway. But obviously, street libraries were a nice surprise, and a beautiful, wonderful detail of this small village. So that's that, and then we spent some time in Stavanger with our colleague and friend Inger Duvik. Pavel remembers, I'm sure Pavel remembers Inger very well, and Inger sends his hi all the time we mention Pavel.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so envious of you seeing his work in person, even via video. Those were some of the most beautiful books I've ever seen.
Yeah, so let me switch to this. So yeah, here are some of the books Inger made over the years. Some of them are pretty old already. Some of them are quite recent, and I guess we will talk separately about the books Inger showed us, because there are some interesting things there, and maybe we should dedicate something like at least 30 minutes talking about them, and maybe even inviting Inger once again. We'll see how it works. But yeah, it was a nice opportunity finally to see these books close and to check all the smallest details, and as usual, of course, and bands, my favorite thing, and to spend some time with Inger and to discuss Norwegian history and Russian history and art and bookbinding and arts and everything. So it was really nice of him to invite us to stay with him. And if you are in the area, I would definitely recommend you to reach out to Inger on his through his Facebook account, and probably there will be a chance to at least talk on, or maybe meet. He's a very welcoming person, and glad to discuss book arts. I wouldn't talk on his behalf here, but you definitely should reach out if you are in Stavanger and if you are interested in book arts. Yeah, I won't show. I have tons of photos of his books and some other things as well, but I wouldn't spend too much time right now because I want to share a couple more things from the Netherlands. And here we are on our way back. Well, firstly, we spent some time in Sweden, as I told earlier, and there were some interesting finds there, but no time to spend on them right now. And this is another space we have already seen on our live streams earlier this year. Was it live stream or podcast? I think it was podcast. Anyway, we recorded a video with Tanya Rakic, one of the owners of Book Total. It's a large supplier of bookbinding materials in the Netherlands, and they organize the bookbinding fair in Belgium, in St. Nicholas, starting this year. So they got it from the previous organizer right before the pandemic started, so they didn't have a chance to launch it for 2 years, and this year was the first year when they had this opportunity, and the new fair was amazing. And Tanya was talking to us from this space, and that's a cow barn that was turned into a bindery something like 20 years ago, and it's also, by the way, near Zwolle, near the same town where this bookshop in the church was that we talked about just a bit before. And the space is amazing. Let me show you some more photos from there. There are a lot of things there. Some of them are not, they do not belong to Book Total, so they will, I don't know if they will stay there for a long time, but Book Total already has courses held there in this space, and they have a lot of plans on doing that in the future as well. You should definitely go to their website. Pavel posted it in the comments, and check their courses, and obviously check the materials they offer in their shop. And that's how it looks from the outside, at least part of it. And the space to the left, you can see with glass walls. It's also part of their space, and they do some paper making and paper marbling there. So a lot of bookish activities, a lot of interesting courses planned, and I wish all the best to Book Total in this endeavor. And here's Sophia. Springback binding. Sorry for a bit glitchy video, but that's how it works right now. But so what else? Yeah, again, we spent a couple of hours there. It was really nice to talk to them, and to share some ideas, and I hope maybe I'll have a chance to visit their course in the future. How should I? Why wouldn't it switch to the next photo? Oh, because it's the last object in the. Okay. Anyway, so that's an amazing space. If you have a chance to visit, definitely visit. And let me check the name of the town where they're located. It's also a spectacular location, and there are some walking and obviously cycling routes in the area over there. So it's not only about books. Anyway, where is it? Okay, I forgot the name. Anyway, you can find the Echten. Yeah, exactly.
It's not that big of a country. If
Yeah.
you're anywhere in
Well,
Belgium,
you
can get there.
You can definitely open. It's like hour and a half, 2 hours from Amsterdam by car, or you can go there by train. And public transport is amazing in the Netherlands, if expensive, but amazing. And the last part for today, and I'll do it promptly, is from my visit to book market in The Hague. Let's see. Here it is.
You are a regular there, right? It's not your first time.
So, while we lived in the Netherlands, it was my routine to go to this book market every Thursday, because, well, it's open on Thursdays, and it's in two different locations in winter and in summer. They are in winter. It's located. Pavel, I probably ask you to switch off the mic because yeah, there are some loud noises there. And in winter, it's located on the Plein in the central square, and in the summer, it's located in a bit to the side. How you call it? That's Leiden. That's not The Hague. And just give me a moment, please. Yeah, it's Lange Voorhout. So it's a boulevard or square, and also in the central part of The Hague. And also they have a flea market near there, located on the other side of the boulevard. And I don't like this flea market very much, because most of the sellers who sell there, they have very curated stuff, and every time you meet with a antique seller who has a curated collection, you know that the prices would be much higher than in some other places. So that's the reason I don't like this flea market. But the book market, on the contrary, is it's well, some sellers have curated collections to offer, but others have just a wide range of stuff, and you can find some amazing objects there for really nice prices. And let me see what I got here. I got some of the books somewhere. Yeah, I can show it. So I got several miniature books from Alembic Press, and Grand John Arabesque book with scores of different arabesques, and just printed and described. And then there is this screw book, a screw story, with just lots and lots of screws. And also a book, miniature paste papers, which is an accordion book with once again lots of paste papers pasted inside. So a nice small collection, a small part of general collection of the Alembic Press, but still it was a nice find, and I got a really nice price because I know the seller, and I bought a few books from him over the past years, and it's always nice to get some discounts from them. And here's another book I found there, and I bought it even while it was the original price was $195, but in the end I got it a bit cheaper, and I had a request from a friend of ours to find a book maybe something like 100 years old, and or older, with lots of illustrations, and he just wanted to have it as a memory of his stay in the Netherlands or in Europe, because he's an Australian, and well, challenge accepted. I started looking around, and when I was in The Hague, I found this one, and okay, I mixed up. That's a different book. Just let me check what's happening there. Give me a moment. Pavel, you can speak for a moment, I guess, if you can. I'll need to fix some things.
Or I can just play music that's playing here for me.
Yeah.
Why don't you want to show us the Jewish one? That one I actually saw.
We can switch the order, and I'll return to this book a bit later. So that's another one I found on this book market, and that's Haggadah. So it's a book that helps you with the order of things during the Passover evening, Passover Seder, and so it's a beautiful Haggadah printed in Austria in 1922, so right before the Holocaust, and even while it was priced a bit higher than the average market, I decided to buy it, because usually when I find some Jewish books or objects in different places and flea markets, for example, I don't know, when I find Hanukkah menorah or Passover plates or something like that, I try to buy them, because firstly we can use them during the celebrations, and then we have a lot of Jewish friends who are always glad to receive them as a gift. So that's just what I do, and this is, as usual, it's very nicely illustrated, because that's what happens with Haggadot, and yeah. And let's return to this book from that was my quest. As you can see, it's heavily decorated, and while the front side and back side definitely they're stamped with plates. So I don't think it's tooled with separate tools, because the front side and back side look too similar to me. There should be some variations if they're tooled by hand, and then I guess it's a bit too elaborate design for tooling by hand. But
I think if it was tooled by hand, it would cost you considerably more. I mean, this alone would have
not
taken
really.
too much time.
Sometimes bindings like this go for a even lower price. Let me return to this first photo, because there is something I wanted to say about it. And how do you switch in Irfan View Plus? Yeah. So what I wanted to discuss is the spine, because the tooling on the spine is definitely a hand tool. Because if you get closer, you can see slight irregularities. The flower on the top is slightly skewed to the right. The flower on the bottom is slightly skewed to the left. In some places, you can see that curves do not connect perfectly. So, well, obviously, that was what grabbed my attention in the first place, because all the books were standing spine up, and I started browsing through this book, and it has a lot of illustrations dedicated to Belgium and Netherlands. And it's originally a Dutch book that was translated into English and then printed and bound in London in 1837. So not 100 years old, but almost there. And I sent a message with some photos to this friend of ours, and he confirmed that he'd like to get this book. And I was almost ready to buy it for myself, because it's a nice binding. It's survived quite well, and it's about the Netherlands, and we love the Netherlands. And but it's a bit too much for me. Even the final price I got it for is a bit too much. But yeah, now this book has a new owner, and who's happy. Here are some close-up of the front tooling, a bit more, and there is yeah, so bound by Wesley Son and Jarvis in London, and the turn-ins are tooled really beautifully as well, and that's obviously tooled with a roller, so hand tooled, and the edges are gilded, and where is the title page? It should be somewhere here. Yeah, here it is. So Holland and Belgium illustrated. There is no date there, but it's from 1837. I checked online, and the price is for a binding like this in a quite a good condition. I definitely bought it for really good price, much cheaper than what it's worth. So it was a great find, and especially it was a great find because it was an end to my quest, and now I need to find a new quest. So Pavel, would you return to us for a moment? I guess we'll be closing up, and
Okay.
you have to go get to the bus or something. And
Yeah.
thank you everyone for staying with us. Real LWD posted. Thank you both for a very interesting discussion, and thank you everybody for staying with us, who stayed with us. If you are watching later, thanks for watching. Yael Tal wrote, the Haggadah is beautiful. When you are tired of it, I'll take it from you. Nice one.
Fat chance.
So yeah, And also Yael wrote, this is where I want to go. Love it. I guess it was about the Tanya's workshop, book
Yeah.
total workshop in the Netherlands. Well, I definitely in I cannot invite anybody there, but I urge you to visit this place if you are in the Netherlands. Contact Book Total and check if there are any courses there, or if you just can get a visit tour of the bindery. And thank you, Pavel, for doing this live stream today with me. And I hope we'll return to a regular schedule. We have some guests planned for the upcoming weeks, but nothing fixed yet. So Pavel has more stuff to discuss about his visits and travels, and I'm sure he will get even more stuff to discuss in the upcoming weeks. So what else? Please check the links in description. Check our Patreon account. Maybe join the crowd and support our podcast and live streams with at least €1 per month, maybe more. Subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube. There will be a lot of interesting stuff coming to both accounts, both places in the upcoming weeks. Instagram as well. And well, thank you for staying with us, and see you next time. Oh,
See you from the next country I visit. Bye.
We also have a Discord server where you can ask questions, and there is a community who can also answer your questions. So, yeah. See you from the next country. Thank you. And we'll stay for a minute longer, and I'll switch off the streams.